Once again.
Hello, it's Jimmy from Riley's Autos, and today we're coming to look at this Vauxhall insignia. It's not starting, so we're going to have a look at that. So we're looking at the battery, and we've got 5 or 6 volts there. So we're going to look at putting a boost pack on that, and then going from there. So here we've just jump started the car, and we've got a battery light that just literally just appeared as we were recording. So we're going to test the alternator. So the alternator is not working, so we're going to have a look at replacing it, and it is down here. The first thing we're going to do is remove this airbox, just give us a little bit of better access to get down there. 7mm pipe here on a clip. Just going to remove that, and then these are just pull off, just push clips. With the airbox out of the way, we can see there's a bolt there, and looks like we got some bolts here at the back, and your live connection and plug down there. So we've got these bolts, then we've got the connection plug and the live connection here, so we're going to get those removed. First we're going to disconnect the battery. Now we can get on with getting the alternator off. We've got this bolt out, that's 18mm. At the back here we've got the plug. Just undo that. We've got a bolt here which looks to be 13mm, but we'll confirm that in a minute. So yeah, that's a 13mm bolt. Obviously we've just got our socket down here and unwound it, so here you go, 13mm. So to remove these bolts, you can get a spanner in here, it's just a little bit awkward, so we've just put a long extension and you've got a bit more room to unwind it over here. So here's where we're at. We've got the bottom bolt out here, and you can see that we've only loosened the top one. That works like it's on a swivel, and now the alternator is loose there, so we should be able to just grab it out. Press that on there carefully. Obviously, if you're putting anything on the engine like that, make sure it's on something metal or sturdy. You don't want to put it on top of these plastic items. If you lean on these, you will break them, or these leak off pipes. And here we've got our replacement alternator, and you just want to make sure that they're both identical in how they fit and in how the plugs are and bolts on the rear. So the main thing you want to look at is 2 pins, and you can see the shape of these grommets. And just make sure that the plugs are identical before you fit it, because you don't want something as silly as that to ruin it. It has happened in the past. So they look both exactly the same, and we're going to get this one fitted. Something I forgot to mention at the start of the video is we noticed the drive belt had come off, and when we reattach it, it's locking up on this wheel on the pulley. So if you have a look inside, basically let me just grab something and show you. So if we put this here and we try to turn the wheel, it doesn't turn. It's locked up, so the clutch pulley's failed. And if we show you on the new one, we can turn the wheel even though the inside of the alternator is not moving. So your clutch pulley is working perfectly. It will turn one way and lock the other way. And this one is locked both ways, which has jammed up the belt and broken it off. So we're gonna put this new alternator on, and we might as well put a new belt on it at the same time. There is also the option on these of changing just the clutch pulley. You can have them removed and changed, but not sure if you can hear that when we're spinning it inside. I hear lots of grinding coming from this area, so I think we're just on a safer bet to just replace the complete alternator. So now it's a case of just putting that new alternator down there. We've just come down through here, slide it across, put it in, and you got the 13mm bolt there. These two 18mm bolts tighten up. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward really. Surprisingly easy job. And your one bolt back down here, which we've got in. We're going to just tighten these all up and ready to put the belt back on. And here is our plug, which goes back into place. Here we've got an auxiliary drive belt on a Vauxhall insignia here. And obviously we've got the airbox out of place, so it's just going to slide it down in here, put our hand under, pull it across to the alternator, just go down and put it underneath each pulley wheel there, and just slip it around all of these. So here we've got the belt around the alternator. And if you look down here, it's coming across. There's a pulley at the top, and then around the power steering, down to the air conditioning pump at the bottom, around the main crank pulley, and then it's coming back from the underneath of the alternator and around the tensioner. You can see how we've fitted it there. Around the top of there, and then it goes around the tensioner, which is here. We've got the ratchet onto, around the crank pulley, and around the alternator. And obviously we've attached this ratchet for the tension of the tensioner there. And the airbox just pushes back down into place in your grommets down here and here. Now we can just tighten up these 7mm bolts. Another one here. That's tight. Now we can jump start the car and retest the alternator. So we've still got the battery alternator light warning on, so it's possible that it may need programming to the car. So that's what we're going to look at doing here. So we've just reset all of the codes. Start it up. And we've now got 14 volts there, so that's all sorted.